Hey all, Dan here again, talking about item number 5 on the list of measurement gear. Today we're going to be talking about the microphones we use. Yeah, we use lots of different microphones for measuring things. I mean, we're an acoustics company. It's what we do. Dan at Periodic Audio. Check me out. That's what we do. So with the magic of a press of a button, I'm going to turn around and let you see what I'm looking at so I can do everything for it. Oh, that was kind of stupid. You can tell I'm old. I don't understand this technology stuff. And just like that, there we go. So first things up is our 711 coupler. A 711 coupler is a pretty standard device. That's what this is. Essentially, what it is it's a microphone that's built into the bottom of this thing. In here, there's a little preamplifier in here, a microphone in here, chambers above it that kind of replicate the way your ear canal works. So it gives an acoustic loading similar to your ear. So, if you measure like an IEM, like this guy, boom, this little guy here, this is a carbon, this is our reference carbon. If you measure this thing in free air, it measures one way. If you put it in your ear, because now there's an acoustic load on the end, a small little chamber in your ear that's being pressurized by the output of this thing, it'll measure differently. That's what this is designed to do. So that when I put this in here, and he's all sealed up with his ear tip, I can actually hook him up, measure him, and it's going to measure like it would be in my ear, and I'll get the kind of response that I expect to see. So that's what this 711 is. We've got probably a dozen of these things kicking around. They're very important. They're used for all of our IEM measurements and as well as our quality testing. They exist in our QC system as well. It connects via coax, which means if you remember yesterday's or the previous ones, that connects into the unbalanced inputs of our microphone. This will generate 20 milliamps constant current that comes up via coax, goes into this guy. And so the signal and the power for the preamp come here, down to here, and then of course it would jump out here into the processor and do everything else. So that's the first thing we do as a coupler. It's pretty normal. The next microphone we use a lot of is this guy. So this one is really used when I'm measuring like speaker systems or sound bars or subwoofers or things in the far field. It's a preamp. I've got a couple of these around from AV Leader. Very, very low noise preamp, plenty of voltage, things like that. It runs off of phantom power. So of course you would think, yes, you're right. It plugs into the balanced outputs here where I can turn on phantom power. This usually is only used inside my anechoic chamber, sometimes in the listening room, things like that. Its size, it can clip into a microphone boom stand, whatever I want. And the capsule on the end here is actually replaceable. You could change out that capsule how you want for different versions. This is a free field mic. It's what I use mostly. There's pressure zone mics, and I have a couple different sizes. This is a 1/2 inch free field. It's good to about 30 kilohertz, high level SPL, about 135 dB SPL, and about a 16, about a 12 or 13 dBA noise floor on this capsule. So it's a really good noise capsule, but you could basically screw them on and off and things like that. That's what it is. So this is more for when we're doing speaker development, far range development, subwoofer developments, cars, things like that. That's what this is for. Yeah, we do more than just headphones. We actually do a ton of general purpose acoustics development for other companies. So that's what that was. And then the last one is, whoa, what does this say? It's a sound quality head and torso simulator, 4100 for B&K. Why, here it is. Whoa, look at the scary guy here. Here he is. This is our hats. This basically is a head and torso simulator. You obviously saw the torso. It obviously has a head, thus head and torso. Yes, we're creative with names of things like that. If you look inside here, it's got a little grill. It's got a little speaker in here, so it'll do a little mouth. So I can actually put signals out that'll come out through a calibrated signal here. It'll go on up to him. He's got a little nasal cavity. Woo, he's been blowing his nose pretty good. So it'll simulate that as well. But the cool thing is on each side of the head, and yeah, you could turn his head and turn my Chucky head that way. You look in there, you see it's got a little microphone capsule. Hey, he's got a microphone capsule. It's the same thing on the other side. And of course, he's got a little flappy rubber ear. And so what this does is it allows me to simulate the way a human head would acquire things. Not any particular head, but just kind of a generic head. It's very referenced. So you can put an in-ear in there if you want to. You can do an over-ear and measure that if you want to as well. That works very well. But typically, you're just going to set this here, and you're going to put a headphone on him, and you're going to measure it. That's what we use for most for headphone measurements, or if I'm doing like glasses development or something like that. Or I use this a lot of times when I'm measuring speaker systems. And I'm designing up like a home theater or something like that. I'll put this where I want people to sit, and I'll measure what the response would be here, where they're going to hear it, and then I have a good approximation of what would be picked up by a listener in a particular space with all the rest of the stuff. So that's it. So essentially, we've got 3 basic microphones we use. We use our big boy here, our hats, our Chucky. We got a couple preamps. They're the same preamp, but we got, half a dozen different capsules that go on the end. And we have a dozen of these little guys, little 711 couplers. They're really only for in-ears kind of thing. So this is for generic everything. This is really for measuring stuff that would be mounted on a head or where I need to kind of simulate what a human or a person would listen to. And then these are, for just in-ears only. So there you go. That's the microphones we use. I hope that was educational. We do a lot of cool acoustics here. So anyway, Dan Wiggins, Periodic Audio. Check us out. We do neat stuff. Talk to you later. Bye.